Look at your hand. Look at the chair you are sitting in. Look at the stars through your window. They seem solid. They seem permanent. We live our lives under the assumption that tomorrow is guaranteed, that the sun will always rise, that the constellations are fixed paintings on a cosmic ceiling. But this is an illusion caused by our short attention spans. To the universe, the stars are not paintings. They are sparks, brief, violent flashes of light in a dark room. And the room is getting colder every second. There is a law that governs everything, from the steam rising off your coffee to the burning of a galaxy. It is the second law of thermodynamics, or as we call it, entropy. Entropy states that order inevitably decays into disorder. Energy spreads out. Structures break down. Time creates rust. It creates ruins. It creates ash. Time is an arrow, and it only points in one direction towards silence. We cannot stop it. We can only watch it happen. To understand our future, we must look at the timeline of the cosmos. Astronomers divide the life of the universe into 5 distinct eras. First, the primordial era, the violent hot beginning. Second, the Stelliferous Era, the current age of stars and galaxies. Third, the Degenerate Era, the age of corpses. Fourth, the Black Hole Era, the age of ghosts. And finally, the Dark Era. We are currently in the Stelliferous Era, the era of light. But do not get comfortable. In the lifespan of the universe, the age of stars is barely a blink of an eye. We are living in a brief moment of gold before the long gray sets in. Let us fast forward. Let us move the clock ahead. 4 billion years. The sky above Earth has changed. The Milky Way is no longer a band of light. It is twisted, distorted. A new shape dominates the night. Andromeda, our sister galaxy, is crashing into us at 110 kilometers per second. It is a cosmic ballet of gravity. Billions of stars are flung into the void. The supermassive black holes at the centers of our galaxies begin to dance and eventually merge. The night sky will be set on fire with a new star formation. It will be beautiful, but no human will be there to see it, because 1 billion years after the collision, our own sun will begin to die. It will run out of hydrogen. It will swell into a red giant. It will consume Mercury, then Venus, and then it will reach us. The oceans will boil. The atmosphere will be stripped away. The mountains will melt into glass. The cradle of humanity will be swallowed by the very Father that gave it life. The earth will not end with a bang, but with a swallow. The death of our sun is a tragedy for us, but to the universe, it is just a Tuesday. Stars continue to be born for eons, but the universe has a fuel tank, and that tank is finite. Let us travel forward, not billions of years, but trillions. Around 100 trillion years from now, the last hydrogen cloud will collapse. The very last star will ignite. It will be a small red dwarf. When that star flickers and dies, the universe will never see natural light again. The Stelliferous Era. The era of light will end. The cosmos will turn off the lights and lock the door. Welcome to the Degenerate Era. The universe is now a graveyard, but the dead are restless. The only objects remaining are stellar remnants, white dwarfs, neutron stars, black holes, the corpses of the giants that once were. Occasionally, 2 of these corpses, these brown dwarfs, will collide in the dark. For a brief moment, they will create a flash of heat, a zombie star that burns for a few million years before freezing over again. It is a time of scavenging, a time of desperate warmth in an infinite winter. But even the corpses cannot last forever. In this era, time is so abundant that it begins to do strange things to physics. Normally, fusion requires the intense heat of a star's core. But give the universe enough time, and quantum tunneling takes over. Over countless eons, the atoms inside these cold, dead stars will slowly rearrange themselves. They will fuse into the most stable element in existence, iron. Every solid object in the universe, every planet, every white dwarf, will eventually turn into a cold, silent sphere of pure iron. The universe becomes a collection of metal statues floating in the void. But the horror does not end there. We assume that matter, atoms, protons, neutrons is stable. We assume a rock is a rock forever. We might be wrong. Many physicists believe in proton decay. The idea is that even the proton, the building block of all matter, eventually falls apart. It just takes a long time. 10 to the power of 34 years. When this happens, the iron stars will not just crumble. They will dissolve. Matter itself will evaporate into a fine mist of radiation. The statues will fade away. So the stars are gone. The light is gone. The matter is dissolving. Who wins the war for the universe? Gravity. As the lights go out, the kings of the dark ascend to their thrones. Black holes. They sweep up the remaining dust. They consume the wandering iron stars. They grow massive, silent, monolithic. The Degenerate Era fades, and the black hole era begins. The universe is no longer a place of things. It is a place of gravity wells and nothing else. But even the kings of the dark are not immortal. Stephen Hawking taught us that black holes are not perfectly black. They leak. Through a process called Hawking radiation, particles slowly escape the event horizon. A black hole is constantly evaporating, slowly, painfully. For a small black hole, this happens quickly. But for the supermassive monsters at the center of galaxies, the evaporation takes an amount of time that the human brain literally cannot comprehend. They do not die with a bang. They die with a long, slow exhale. How long does this take? We need a new number. A Google is a 1 followed by 100 zeros. If you wrote a 0 on every atom in the universe, you would run out of atoms before you finished writing the number. It will take a Google years for the last black hole to evaporate. Imagine a bird sharpening its beak on a mountain of diamond. Every million years, the bird swipes its beak once. By the time the bird has worn the mountain down to nothing, the black hole will have barely lost a single % of its mass. This is the scale of the black hole era, a timeline so long that the entire history of stars and life is less than a single heartbeat. But in this infinite darkness, something terrifying might happen. Quantum mechanics tells us that in a vacuum, particles can pop into existence randomly. Given infinite time, anything that can happen will happen. This leads to the paradox of the Boltzmann brain. It is statistically possible for atoms to randomly come together in the void and form a fully functioning brain. A brain complete with memories, with thoughts, with a feeling of self. It would exist for a microsecond before freezing to death. But for that microsecond, it would think it was alive. It might even think it is sitting in a chair, watching a video about space. Are you real? Or are you just a fluctuation in the deep future? Eventually, the random fluctuations stop. The last black hole explodes in a final burst of gamma rays, and then silence. The universe reaches a state of maximum entropy, the heat death. The temperature drops to absolute zero. Space continues to expand, but there is nothing left to separate. Every photon is stretched until it becomes nothing. There is no here. There is no there. There is no now. Time stops because nothing ever changes again. This seems like a definitive end, but humans do not like endings, and so physicists have asked, can we escape? Theoretical physics offers a few lifeboats. Perhaps we could harvest the rotational energy of black holes to create a simulated reality that lasts for eternity. Perhaps we could create a baby universe, pinching off a piece of space-time to start a new Big Bang. Or perhaps this has all happened before. Maybe the heat, death is not the end of the book. Maybe it is just the turning of the page. If we cannot stop the end, perhaps we can preserve the memory. Futurists imagine a digital arc. A civilization at the end of time might upload their consciousness into a computer built around a black hole, using the rotational energy to power a simulation. In that simulation, time could run differently. A single second of real time could be stretched into a billion years of virtual bliss. They could live in an eternal dream huddled around the last fire in the universe, telling stories of the days when the stars used to shine. But this leads us to a difficult question. If the universe eventually dies, if every star burns out and every memory fades, does any of this matter? Nihilism tells us, no, the end erases the beginning. But there is another way to look at it. A song eventually ends. Does that mean the music was pointless? A flower eventually wilts. Does that mean its bloom was not beautiful? The fact that existence is finite is precisely what gives it value. If diamonds were as common as sand, they would be worthless. Life is rare. Consciousness is rare. And this moment, it is the rarest of all. We are the universe experiencing itself. We are the atoms of the Big Bang arranged in such a complex way that they can look back at the start and ask, where did I come from? For the vast majority of the universe's timeline, for the Google years of the Dark Era, the cosmos will be blind. It will be cold, it will be empty, but right now the universe is awake, and it is looking through your eyes. This brings us to the most important realization. We tend to look at the past and say we miss the glory days of exploration. We look at the future and envy the technology of Type 3 civilizations. But we are wrong. We are living in the golden age. This right now is the Stelliferous Era, the only time in the history of everything when the sky is full of light. We are the only ones who get to see the Milky Way. We are the only ones who get to feel the warmth of a sun. To the trillions of souls who might exist in the cold future, we are the lucky ones. We are the ones living in paradise. So do not despair at the end of time. The dark is coming. Yes, but it is not here yet. The stars are still burning. The coffee is still warm, and you are still here to witness it. Do not waste the light.